Silence. Pay attention. You should not be hearing this. What you're about to receive is the kind of knowledge people pay thousands for in closed-door masterminds. The wealthy shrug and say, I was lucky. They followed a law so powerful it bends money opportunity, kite, and circumstance toward anyone bold enough to use it. And if this video is still free while you're watching, consider it a window that may close at any moment. Here's my promise. By the vended, you'll walk away with a written wealth decree, a blueprint that turns vague wishing into crystal clear action. No fluff, no mysticism. Oh, just wealth mindset. Millionaire Abbey subconscious, reprogramming, and the law of success in action. But listen carefully. If you drift through this casually, it will feel like motivation and fade by tomorrow. If you stay focused, take notes, and repeat the words aloud, you'll feel the shift today. Sharper thoughts, stronger belief, relentless clarity. Say this with me now. I command my focus. I command my habits. I command my future. Good. If you're still here, type definite in the comments to prove. You're ready. Let's begin. If you want to understand why some people attract wealth as if money were magnetized to them, while others work their entire lives and still struggle, you need to understand one universal law. Money obeys definitus. Money is not random. It does not trickle into the lives of the lucky by accident. It bends itself toward those who are clear, precise, and absolutely definite about what they want, when they want it, and what they're willing to give in return. The vague, the half-hearted, the indecisive, they repel money like oil repels water. Think about this. The man who says, I'd like to be rich someday, is already defeated. Why? Because someday is not a command. It's a hope, a whisper, a drift. Contrast that with the man who declares, I will earn $1,000,000 within the next 3 years by building a business that serves people better than anyone else. That is not a wish. That is a decree. It is a command written with definitus, you backed by belief and driven by action. History proves this again and again. Andrew Carnegie was not born into wealth. He began as a poor immigrant working in factories, covered in soot. His hands blistered from steel and fire. But inside his mind, he wrote a decree he would master the steel industry, and he would not stop until that decree was reality. Carnegie didn't pray for luck. He demanded results. He set a specific aim. I committed to a definite path and rendered service beyond his pay. Steel bent to his will because he first bent his own thoughts to deafness. That decision transformed him into one of the wealthiest men the world has ever seen. On the other hand, look at the man who drifts through life with vague intentions. He says, I want a better life, but he never defines what better means. He says, I need more money, but he never fixes an exact sum. He says, I'll try to improve, but he never sets a deadline. Such a man may work hard, but he remains trapped because his energy is scattered in 1,000 directions. The universe cannot answer vagueness. Money flees from the man who has no command, no clarity, no decree. Why does definites hold such power? Because your subconscious mind does not respond to may. It does not respond to, it responds to crystal clear orders repeated with emotion, written down, and followed with action. Your subconscious is like a faithful servant ready to carry out your commands, but only if those commands are precise. A vague wish is like mumbling instructions into the wind. A definite decree is like engraving orders into stone. Here is the secret. When you write down exactly how much money you want, when you will have it, and what you will give in exchange, right? You align your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your actions to an unstoppable force. The law of definitus activates, alleys appear, ideas spark, opportunities gather to the outside world. It looks like luck, but in truth, it is law. Consider this practical example. Imagine two entrepreneurs. The first says, I want to grow my business. The second writes, I will grow my business to Urbach Wussers, Lingen revenue by December Senser Saint this year by creating premium coaching programs that deliver massive value to eBuyback clients. Who do you think will attract investors, clients, and resources more quickly? The one who drifts or the one who commands with definitus? The answer is obvious. Definitiveness also creates confidence. When you know exactly what you want, you eliminate the hesitation. You stop wasting energy on 1,000 may. You move forward with clarity, and that clarity inspires others to follow you. People invest in leaders who know what they want. The world yields to the man or woman with a definite aim. But here's the challenge. Most people are afraid to be definite. They fear committing to a number, a date, or a plan because it makes failure pods. They'd rather float in vagueness where no one can call them wrong. But drifting is the most certain form of failure. It guarantees mediocrity. Even if imperfect, create momentum. Momentum attracts opportunity, and opportunity builds fortune. So let me ask you, have you written your decree? Have you fixed the exact sum you want, the date you will have it, and the service you will render? Or are you still whispering vague wishes into the wind? Do this exercise tonight. Take a pen and write down a clear financial decree, the exact sum of money you demand, the date by which you will have it, the service you will provide in exchange, the plan by which you will achieve it. Read it aloud every morning and every night. Speak it with conviction until your subconscious accepts it as law. The moment you do this, you step out of the crowd of drifters and into the ranks of masters. Remember, money is not timid before power. It is timid before vagueness. It obeys deafness and flees from indecision. If you want to bend money to your will, start by bending your thoughts into clarity. Decide what you want. Write it, speak it, act on it. Say this with me. Money obeys me because I am definite. My decree is law, and law cannot be broken. This is the first secret. This is the foundation. Money obeys definitus. Once you understand that money responds to definitus, the next question becomes, what fuels definitus? The answer is 4 unshakable forces: desire, faith, autosuggestion, and action. Together they form the engine that drives fortune. Move even. One and the engine stalls. Let's start with desire. Everything begins with a burning want, not a passing wish, not a polite preference, a white, hot hunger. That refuses denial. Desire is the spark that lights the fire of achievement. Without desire, definitis is empty. You can write down the numbers, dates, and plans. But if you don't truly want it, if your blood doesn't burn for it, you'll quit at the first obstacle. History shows us this truth. Every great fortune, every invention, every empire began with a person who wanted something so badly they could not sleep without thinking of it. Andrew Carnegie desired fortune with such intensity that no setback could stop him. Thomas Edison desired to see light, captured inside a bulb so strongly he endured Ling failures. Their desire was not casual, it was obsessive, and because it was obsessive, it was unstoppable. But desire alone is not enough. Desire must be partnered with faith. Faith is belief so strong, it silences doubt. It is the invisible chemistry that fuses desire into reality. When you have faith, you don't merely hope. You know in your heart that what you desire is already yours. You walk, talk, eat, and act as if you are already in possession of it. This belief saturates your subconscious and radiates into everything you do. Edison didn't hope he would succeed. He believed. Henry Ford didn't wonder if his vision of the V-Bat engine would work. He believed. Faith gave them endurance when logic said quit. Faith made them deaf to criticism and blind to temporary defeat. Without faith, to desire is a flicker that soon dies. With faith, a desire becomes a flame that burns through every obstacle. How do you build faith? Through autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the daily repetition of your decree until your subconscious mind accepts it as law. It is the practice of engraving your desire and faith into the deepest layers of your mind by speaking it aloud. You're visualizing it and feeling it as already true. Your subconscious cannot argue. It cannot reason. It accepts whatever is repeated with emotion, whether it is fear or faith, poverty or riches. The drifter fills his mind with negative suggestions. I can't. I'm unlucky. I'll never make it. And his subconscious obeys, producing failure. The master fills his mind with positive decrees. I will. I can. I must. And his subconscious obeys, producing fortune. This is why your words matter. This is why affirmations matter. Every time you repeat your decree aloud with belief and passion, you are chiseling wealth into your subconscious. You are programming yourself to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You are conditioning your mind to persist it when others surrender. But even desire, faith, and suggestion mean nothing unless they are proven with action. Action is the test. Thought without motion is stillborn. Many people dream, repeat affirmations, and visualize success, but they never take bold, definite steps toward their goals. They live in the fantasy of their minds, but never bring it into reality. Fortune never crowns dreamers who stop at the dream. Fortune crowns doers who prove their decree with action. Action doesn't mean frantic business. It means definite, persistent steps aligned with your written decree. If you decree wealth through building a business, then every day you must call, create, Rachel, and serve. If you decree wealth through mastery of a skill, Thron, refine, and perform, faith without action is hypocrisy. Desire without action is fantasy, suggestion without action is empty noise. When you combine all four desire, kite, faith, suggestion, and action, you become unstoppable. Desire gives you the fuel. Faith gives you the belief. Out of suggestion, programs your mind. Action proves it to the world. So let's make this practical tonight. Write your decree, then read it aloud with burning desire. As you read, feel faith as if it's already yours. Repeat it morning and night until your subconscious accepts it. And tomorrow, take one bold, definite action that proves you believe. Call the client, launch the project, apply for the opportunity. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Act now. Say this with me. My desires, a flame. My faith is unshakable. My words program my mind. My actions prove my decree. Therefore, money must obey me. This is the law, and when you live it, you step into the same lineage as Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and Ford. The world bends to those who combine desire, right faith, autosuggestion, and action. There is a hidden magnet that pulls riches toward you faster than any wish, prayer, or even clever plan. It is so simple that most people ignore it. Yet, it is the very principle that separates those who remain in mediocrity from those who climb into abundance. That magnet is service beyond pay. Most people move through life asking, what can I get for what I do? They measure their effort by their paycheck, their hours, their salary. They calculate the minimum required and deliver only that much. They complain if they are asked for more. And then they wonder why opportunities never come, why doors remain shut, why wealth slips through their fingers. The law of wealth works in the opposite direction. The men and women who rise, who attract fortune, who multiply their opportunities, are those who give more value than they are paid for. They pour extra energy, right? Extra thought, extra care into every act of service. They go beyond expectation. And because they do, the law of increase rewards them in ways no wage could measure. Think of Marshall Field, the great merchant of Chicago. After the devastating fire reduced his store to ashes, many business owners abandoned the city. They saw only ruin, but Field declared on this very spot, I will build the world's greatest store, and he did. Why? Because his entire philosophy was grounded in service. He trained his clerks to treat every customer with courtesy, to deliver more than was expected. He built an empire, not by chasing money, but by chasing service. The money followed, as it always does. Or look at Henry Ford. His genius was not only in building cars. It was in serving the common man by making the automobile affordable. While others chased luxury markets, Ford over-delivered for the masses. He rendered more than he was paid for, and the world rewarded him with an empire. Service beyond pay creates reputation. Reputation creates this trust. Trust creates opportunity, and opportunity creates wealth. This is not theory. It is law. The man who always gives more than he is paid for eventually finds himself in a position where his pay multiplies far beyond his original service. Now let's get practical. What does service beyond pay look like in your life? If you work a job, it means doing your task with excellence, not just adequacy. It means staying a little longer to solve the problem others ignore. It means taking initiative when no one asks. The lazy man says, I don't get paid enough for this. The master says, I am building wealth through service, and my reward will come multiplied. If you run a business, it means delivering more value than your competitors. It means adding a surprise bonus and swearing with extra care, solving problems before they appear. Customers never forget when they receive more than they paid for. They tell others. They return again. Your service becomes a magnet for money. If you are building skills, it means practicing beyond the bare minimum. It means stretching yourself, not because you are paid for it now, but because you are investing in a future. Payoff? Every extra hour you invest compounds. One day the market will pay you more than you imagined because you rendered more than you were compensated for at the beginning. Here's the truth. Life is not a miser. It is generous, but it pays in proportion to what you give. If you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. If you sow abundantly, you reap abundantly. Every act of extra service is a seed planted in the soil of opportunity. It may not sprout immediately, but over time it multiplies into harvest. This principle also builds character. When you habitually give more than you are paid for, you develop discipline, pride in your work, and inner strength. You stop being dependent on someone else's measure of your worth. You know your value, and that confidence radiates. Employers notice, clients notice, partners notice, the world notices, and it responds. Ask yourself in the last week, did you give more than you were paid for? Did you add extra care, extra thought, extra service? Or did you stop the moment your wage was covered? Be honest, because your answer reveals whether you are attracting wealth or repelling it. Here's an exercise. For the next 7 days, commit to rendering at least one act of service each day beyond what is expected. It might be writing a more thoughtful email. It might be helping a colleague without being asked. It might be refining your work until it shines. Even if good enough would have passed, keep a record. At the end of the week, you'll notice something remarkable. People respond differently. Trust builds. Respect grows. Small opportunities appear, and if you persist it, larger opportunities will come. Say this aloud with me. I render more than I am paid for. I give more than I receive. My service is abundant. Therefore, my reward will multiply. This is not charity. This is strategy. Service beyond pay is not about giving for free without wisdom. It is about cultivating the habit of over-delivering, of always planting seeds of value. Knowing that life pays compound interest to those who serve, the beggar asks, "Oh, what can I get for nothing?" The drifter asks, "What's the least I can do?" The master declares, "I will give more than I am paid for, and life will pay me more than I gave." This law has crowned empires and built fortunes. If you want to attract wealth, begin here. Make your service a magnet. Give more, render more, over-deliver, right? And watch how money bends to the one who serves beyond pay. Desire without a plan is like a ship without a rudder. It may float, but it will never reach a harbor. Many people burn with dreams, repeat affirmations, and feel genuine hunger for success, but they remain trapped because they never take the time to crystallize their desire into a definite, organized plan. Wealth does not answer to vague energy. Wealth responds to organized direction. You cannot drift into fortune. You must chart the course, assemble the crew, and steer the ship. That is why the law of success demands organized planning and the creation of what Napoleon Hill called the mastermind. Let's start with planning. A plan does not have to be perfect at the beginning. Too many people wait endlessly for the right strategy, the flawless map, the perfect conditions. They study, they analyze, they overthink, and while they wait, opportunities vanish. Fortune never crowns the timid. It crowns the bold, the ones who create a plan, however imperfect, and begin. Action perfects the plan. Movement reveals adjustments, but without a plan, nothing happens. Henry Ford is proof of this. When he dreamed of building a horseless carriage, he did not have all the answers. He knew little about mechanics. What he did have was definiteness of purpose to build a car affordable for. The common man, his first plans were rough, his first attempts clumsy, but he moved forward, he organized, but he adjusted, and eventually he created a system of production that revolutionized the world. Or consider John D. Rutler. He did not stumble into an oil empire by chance. He planned, he created supply chains, distribution networks, reinvestment strategies. He gathered skilled men, assigned roles, tracked data, and refined operations. His empire was not built by drift, but by deliberate, organized planning. Now, planning is only half the law. The other half is the mastermind. One mind, no matter how brilliant, is limited. A group of minds united in harmony becomes a force that can move mountains. That is the essence of the mastermind. The alliance of men and women working together toward a definite aim, combining their knowledge, courage, and imagination. Think of Edison's laboratory. We often picture Edison as a lone genius. But the truth is, his greatest breakthroughs came through teams of brilliant minds working together under his leadership. Think of Carnegie, who built an empire not because he knew every detail of steel production, but because he gathered the best men in every field and aligned them under one vision. Think of Rockefeller, Ford, Schwab. Each of them surrounded themselves with strong allies. That was their secret. What? The drifter isolates himself. He is suspicious, jealous, unwilling to share ideas. He says, I'll do it alone. And because of that, his power remains small. The master, on the other hand, allies himself with other masters, chooses companions with care. He selects men and women of faith, skill, and vision, whose aims harmonize with his own. He understands that one good ally is worth more than 100 doubters. But beware, not every group is a mastermind. A true mastermind requires harmony. If there is envy, negativity, or discord, the alliance collapses. That is why you must choose carefully. Admit only those who strengthen your courage, not those who weaken it. Surround yourself with people who believe in your aim, not those who poison it with.